Hello, people of Facebook. This is Andy Grant. I am one of the founding members of Project Positive Change, what we call a visionary. and today I want to talk to you about taking action in spite of fear. And this is the first time I've done a Facebook Live, and I intentionally wanted this to be the first time so that I would have some of that fear about, is this going to work? Am I doing it right? Is anybody listening? Am I just talking to myself again? Right? Because it's all good. And fear actually does serve us, except we try to stop it and stuff it. Fear, like any emotion, wants to be felt, wants to be experienced, wants to move through us. So, just let it. Right? Yesterday on Project Positive Change, there was a quote from Eleanor Roosevelt. It said, "Do one thing every day that scares you." Now, just the idea of that can be terrifying. Like, why would I want to choose something that scares me every day? That sounds like a really horrible place to live, right? Well, another quote I love is, "Fear is excitement without the breath." Right? Fear is excitement, which is good, but without the breath. So I invite you to join me right now, and we're just going to take 3 deep breaths and realize, if you feel any level of stress or fear or frustration, realize how different you feel after just these 3 breaths. Right? So join me, please. Cool. So if you did that, you might feel a little different now. Might feel a little bit more here, a little bit more relaxed, which is a good thing. So now that I'm here and I'm fearing less, let me kick it off and tell you that I'm Andy Grant. In addition to being a founding member of... Lori reads this right now, so good. Keep breathing, Lori. It's good to have you here. I'm a founding member of Project Positive Change. I'm also an author, a speaker, and an energy coach. I'm also an actor, a writer, a screenwriter. I've been an extensive world traveler. I've had really an exciting, fun life. But I've not always been this way. You see, I'm also a survivor of multiple suicide attempts. So I know what fear feels like. For a long time, I feared everything. I was more afraid to live than to die, right? And that's just not a good place to be. And another famous Roosevelt quote, this time from Theodore Roosevelt, that you probably have all heard, is, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." And that is very true, because fear, you can't point to fear, right? You can't go, "Get me a box of fear," or go to the store, pick up some fear, right? Fear is self-created, is only in our head. And what cures fear is action. Right? Action cures fear. Taking the smallest step in the direction of what you fear lessens that fear. Being brave, being courageous, doesn't mean you don't have fear. It means in spite of fear, you take action, right? So keep doing that in your life. Take the smallest step forward. Don't let fear stop you. You can let fear be an encouraging, welcoming thing. One personal experience I have is that I go to a lot of personal growth events, and I try to make myself sit in the front row and pay attention, and a lot of times I just want to get out of there. Like, this is going to be challenging and difficult. Maybe I can just leave. And over time, I've come to recognize, that's the best sign, right? The more I fear something, the more beneficial it's probably going to be for me. So now, I let fear be my go sign instead of my stop sign, right? And you can do that too. It's so simple. Now, simple doesn't mean it's easy, right? But it's simple. Just take some positive steps in the direction of what you fear. Because I assure you, what you love to do demands to be done. All right? The universe is set up to support you. The universe isn't holding out treats in front of you and dangling them in front of you to set you up and then take it away, right? It's not setting you up to be this perpetual slip and fall action. But when you take positive action in the steps of what you desire, even though if you fear it, you can accomplish it. You can do it. The only thing that will stop you is letting fear be your stop sign. That's why I encourage you to let fear be your go sign. And remember that action cures fear, no matter how small that action is. Because it proves to you that you are capable, and that you are worthy, and that your authenticity, your power, the real you, is bigger and stronger than any fear that might show up. So when it comes to fear, take the smallest step towards it, right? You might see, in the movie superheroes, or in real life, first responders, police and firemen and paramedics and the military that run into danger. They go headlong, head first, right into something that they fear Because I assure you, they feel fear, but they act in spite of it. Right? Being of service, putting someone else ahead of them, helps them overcome any personal fear they have, and they take action. Because in those instances, the fear can be very real and can be life-threatening. But for most people that I deal with, the fear is all just self-made in the head. Right? It's fear of outcomes. It's fear of failure. Could be fear of success. Could be fear of people not showing up, not enjoying your message, fear of criticism. The possible fears are endless. But again, the only way to conquer those fears is by taking action. Okay? These days, I teach workshops, I speak to large groups, but when I first went to college, I was afraid. I graduated high school at the top of my class, but yet I was still afraid to go to college. So I took a year off, and I just went to a local community college, and I was breezing through it, just straight A's, and it was just a breeze, and it was, kind of felt like I was wasting my time, and I was building my own confidence that maybe I actually am smart, and I can handle, a bigger university. But in the second semester, there was a mandatory public speaking class, and that terrified me. I wanted nothing to do with that, so I dropped out. I went from straight A's to straight F's and just stopped going because I feared it so much. And I used, a lot of people go to Toastmasters to learn how to speak and to get better prepared. I used Toastmasters in a unique way. I intentionally went to Toastmasters unprepared and full of fear so that I would realize that nothing bad really happens, right? I would go to a speech knowing I'm going to speak and have no preparation. I'd have no notes. I'd have no idea what I was going to say. And I would get up at the podium and stammer and stumble and be full of ums and ahs until they lost count of them, just to see that, the sun still rose. And nobody even kicked me out of the group. There was just support. And one of my mentors recognized in himself that he had a sense of self-sabotage. He had a desire, some part of him desired things to fail at, and he didn't want that creeping into things he wanted to succeed at. So he, as a middle-aged man, took up hockey for the first time in his life. And he took it up intentionally as a place to flounder, to fail, to flop. And he flopped for a long time. For a good 6 months, no one wanted him on their team. He was a really bad skater, but he stuck with it, and now he plays all the time for true fun and enjoyment. And when I deal with clients that there's something they dream of doing, writing a book, putting a workshop together, launching their own business, whatever it may be, they have this fear that's stopping them, I encourage them to go pick something else that they're not attached to, like go bowling, join a bowling league, or go learn square dancing. Go do something that you're not attached to so you can fail and flop and struggle and realize that almost there's this fun of learning. There's this enjoyment of conquering your fear. So what I wanted you to do today is think of something that you fear. Just whatever's at the top of your mind. It could be simple as a phone call you need to make, an email you need to send, or perhaps it's something you need to respond to. Right? Is there a commitment you've been putting off delaying? You've been putting off delaying. No, a commitment that you've been putting off. Right? No longer delay it. So I encourage you to pick something, the slightest action you can take today to get over that fear. And to make it real, I really encourage you, put it in the comments here, right? Get it out of your own head, out of your own system. Share it with the world. That gets you a level of support and accountability. So I challenge you, take something today, share it with somebody. If not here, share it with somebody what you're going to do in the face of a fear. And get it done. Do it today or this weekend at the latest. But take that action. Again, action cures fear. And the more you do this, the more momentum you have, you'll begin to see fear as that welcoming sign. Fear as the sign that, yeah, I'm going in the right direction, right? Today, I do what I fear the most. I've been on vacations that terrify the snot out of me. And I've spoken in front of groups that terrify the piss out of me, right? I terrify lots of lots of fluids out of myself all the time. So without realizing it, I guess I am living Eleanor Roosevelt's original quote of do one thing every day that scares you. Because when you do it enough, you don't even realize you're doing it. Right? Feeling a fear and acting despite of it just becomes this automatic, natural thing. And that's when life is freaking awesome. All right? Cool. So think of your challenge, think of that fear, note the action you're going to take. Share it here. And if you do share it here, I'll comment, I'll support you, I'll check in with you later. All right? So have a great day. And living fearlessly just means fearing less. It doesn't mean you don't have fear. So the only question is, can you do it? And actually the answer to that is yes, you can. I know you can do it. So the bigger question is, will you do it? That's up to you. So share what you're going to do, the action you'll take, and have an awesome weekend. Bye.